Let's roll. Welcome. Hello. Just give a moment. Let me rectify the sound. See if I can open this up. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. Let me rectify the sound. Please give me a moment. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I guess we are good to go. Let's zoom into business of the day. Hello, everyone. This is Paul. Find your life strategies. I'm always on the journey to help you become a better version of yourself in a very short period of time. And right this night, we are going to be covering a topic that, if you will be able to understand how it works, it is going to transform your life forever. It's going to transform your life completely. So I want you to pay close attention, because what I'm about to share with you will change your life. And what are we talking about today? We are dealing with the topic, the power of questions. The power of questions. Can I hear you say that? The power of questions. Just a moment. The power of questions. Need to adjust some things here. The power of questions. I don't know why I can't hear myself. What's going on this side? Oh, I see. I remember where the problem is. I guess by now you should be able to hear me clearly. So sorry for the inconvenience that all these could have caused. I apologize for that. So let's just get to business. Yes, by now you should be able to hear me. And my name is Paul. I'm a life strategist. I'm always on a journey to help you become a better version of yourself in a very short period of time. And that is exactly what we are going to be doing right now. We're going to be talking about the power of questions, discovering how to unlock a new level of clarity, focus, and control in your life. You know, each and every one of us, each and every one of us needs to have some level of clarity in our life. We need to have some level of control and focus in our life. Because if you truly desire to be someone, if you truly desire to produce magnificent results, if you truly desire to be the best of the best, then the issue of clarity and the issue of focus and the issue of some level of control in your life is non-negotiable. It is something that you have to pay close attention to. Now, let me tell you something. Two women just celebrated their 70th birthday. One of the women said, "Oh, I'm 70 years old. I must be tired. My life is to some extent coming to an end. My body is weak. I need to slow down every activity that I'm doing right now so that I will wait for the day I die." The other woman on the other side said, "Come on, I am 70 years old. I've lived a long while. I've gained experiences. I have wisdom because I have practical experiences that I've encountered throughout the years, and this is perfect to prepare me to teach the young people who are coming up." And this woman decided to use her remaining years to be a counselor to young women and young families, advising them from her experiences on how to go about life. And she also picked up a new habit. She began mountain climbing at 70 years old. So now if I'll ask you, what exactly is the difference? The difference between these two old women is they ask totally different questions in their mind. Now I want you to understand that this question could be subconsciously, or will I say, you might not be aware that you are asking that question, or you might be aware of asking that question. And most of the times, people are not aware of that they are asking that question. And that is why things happen in their life, they begin to wonder, but this is not what I wanted for my life. This is not what I really want for my life. They don't know that the questions they have been asking has been shaping their reality. As we go down, I will explain to you how these things matter. You know, you see two people. Have you ever noticed this? Two people are going through the same situation, or maybe same health issues or same financial problem, and one of them becomes stronger while the other becomes weak and becomes stuck and becomes stranded, don't know what to do. What do you think is the difference between these two people? I want you to understand that it is not the situation, it is the meaning they give to it. Life is going to happen. A lot of things are going to happen to you. The things that you don't even want to happen to you will happen to you. And when it happens that way, what do? It matters for you to understand that this is not the situation. Bad things happen to good people, and it also happens to bad people. So none of us is immune to bad things. When it comes on you, you got to face it. So, but for you to maximize the opportunity that comes with every difficulties and difficult challenges, you must have to focus on readjusting the meaning you give to circumstances. Let me share a personal story with you. You know, I've always have this desire to change my life fast, like always want to produce results in a very short period of time. Anytime I thought of something, or maybe anytime I notice that there's a need for me to do something in my life, I always try to see that I find a better way to do it. So this desire and this burning desire has pushed me to go in search here and there for tools and resources and philosophy and viewpoints that will help change my life instantly, that will help push my life forward. And I came across an idea that sounded so simple, but it changes everything for me. And I've already started talking about this. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is determined by this idea that I came across. When you see somebody producing great results in his life, it is because he has gotten access to this idea I'm about to share with you. And what is this? Is the power of questions. Now listen to me. What does it really mean? Now, the questions you ask, either consciously or unconsciously, determines what you focus on. The questions you ask, either consciously or unconsciously, determines what you focus on. Now, let me give you this metaphor as an example. Now, look at your mind like a dark room, and your questions, the questions you ask, the habitual questions you ask, is a torchlight. Anytime you point the torchlight in the dark room of your mind, what do you see? What you are going to see is what the beam of the light focuses on at that moment. There might be many things in the room, in your mind, but because the beam is directed on something else, that is exactly what you see. When you go into a dark room and you are holding a torchlight, when you shine that torchlight, the rays will now zoom to a specific position, and the exact place the beam goes, that is exactly what you see. And that doesn't mean that there are no other options there. Another metaphor, another example here is, have you ever picked your phone to browse? When you open Google or Chrome, what do? You type a question. The question you type in there will determine the kind of answer that you receive. When you type in garbage, you get out garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. You remember that statement, right? So the questions you ask are responsible for the kind of things you can even see. When something happens to you and you begin to ask, why is this happening to me? What are you going to see? Just like when you type it on Facebook or when you type it on Google, what is a noun? What do you see? You see the definition of nouns from different people. You never type in what is a noun, you begin to see the definition of a cow or a sheep or a goat or a laptop. No, you see the definition of what? A noun. Before, if maybe the sheep is now related to the definition, then they will give you an option and say, okay, here's another option. That is when you see. So the questions you ask, why is it happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Your brain will switch into action and begin to get the reason why this thing is happening to you. Even if there is no reason, your mind will always concord and create a reason to validate it. Because you are a king, you are a prince, you are a sovereign being, you are in charge of your life. So any instruction you give to your brain, you give to your body, you give to any part of your being, they don't take it for granted. They will swing into action to get a result for the boss. And you are the boss. So what are you asking? What question are you asking? Concerning your finances, what kind of question are you asking? Concerning your health, what kind of question are you asking? When you always ask the question, what can I eat now that can fill my belly and I can prepare fast and move? You always find yourself getting attracted to junk food, to food that don't have nutritional value. But by the time you begin to ask questions like, What is that thing that I need that if I'll eat right now, it's going to get me feel energetic and strong, and it's going to help me to be healthy? Just because you ask that question, you find yourself drifting towards fruits, towards vegetables, towards organic foods, not junk foods. When you begin to ask yourself questions around your finances, like, why is the economy so hard like this? You only get the answers to that. Now, here's a story of someone that helped portray what I'm trying to share with you here. This is Viktor Franklin. Viktor Franklin was a man, a Jewish man. He was caught and placed in a concentration camp. He lost everything. You know the Nazis during World War II, I guess. Yeah. These people the janitor just bounced into his house because he is of a Jewish accent. They picked him, his wife and family, and took them all to the concentration camp. He was there day and night. He suffered torment, torture, unbelievable torture. He was right there with many people in the camp. And because of the severity of the torture, many people gave up. But others, including him, found strength. And when a study was made about what was the difference between those who survived this concentration camp and those who did not, it was found that those who survived the concentration camp asked better questions. They asked different questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They asked, what is life expecting from me right now? That was what Viktor Franklin and other people who survived the concentration camp were asking. Those who could not survive were asking, why is this happening to me? Why me, God? Why me, Lord? Why could people be so wicked and ruthless? But they did not focus on that. Viktor Franklin did not focus on that question. He focused on asking, what is life expecting from me right now? He was passing the same suffering. They were passing the same suffering. Those who survived and those who did not. But he asked a different question. And because he asked a different question, his mind and his brain zoomed into action to produce different answers. What question are you asking concerning your life? That's the question I am posing to you right now. What question are you asking? Because the question you ask will determine the possibilities you see. And what you see will determine what you believe. And what you believe will determine the action you are willing to take. And the action you are willing to take is what causes change. Can you see how it happens? For any change you see, for any result you see, you have to understand that the people that produce that result ask different questions than any other person. They were asking different questions. And because they were asking different questions, their brain zoomed into action, focused on different things. And when you focus on different things, you will see different things. And when you see different things, you will believe different things. It's just like the difference between the child of Dangote, the richest man in Africa, and another poor man in Africa. The child or the daughter of Dangote is always there seeing how his daddy is operating business of millions and billions of dollars, flying from this country to another country, flying to many countries in the week. How about the experience of the poor boy in the village? All he sees is lack. All he sees is insufficiency. All he sees is suffering. And that what determines what he believes is possible. But the doubter or the son of Angote will see billions as a possibility. But that boy in the village cannot just even see. He can't even imagine that as possibility. So what you see determines what you believe. And the things you believe will determine the actions you are willing to take. And the actions you are willing to take will determine the result that you produce. Action is what changes everything. Now, to clarify you this, I want you to understand that even science approve of this. The idea of the questions, the power of questions, how questions can transform your life. Your brain has something called a filtering system. It works more like a selective attention. It cannot process everything. So it looks for what you tell it to look for. You know, psychologists call it the reticular activating system. This is a system in your brain that help you to focus on the things that only matters. You know, there are many things happening right now around you. And if you are to force yourself to see and to understand and to be mindful of everything that is going on around you right now, you will go insane. Something like the blood flowing down your vein, the wind blowing your hair, what is going on beneath your toes. And your digestive system are also active. Your eye is moving. Your circulatory system is active. Your respiratory system is active. Many millions of things are happening at a spot right now. Your body at the subconscious level is controlling this. But on the conscious level, you have something called the reticular activating system. This is a system in your brain that allows you to only see the things that matters, that you approve as matters. So when something comes, the reticular activating system will now, first of all, cross-check to make sure that it matters. And when it matters, it will not allow it to go in. And the way you frame a situation changes how you feel and respond to it. When you see the problem as this is the end of it all, what will you do? You will give up. But when you see the problem as this is an opportunity for me to try something up, this is an opportunity for me to showcase my talent, to showcase my creativity, to showcase what I am capable of, what will you do? You zoom into action and find ways to make it happen. That is what I'm saying. That is what I am saying. Now, let me be honest with you. Let us be honest. What question do you usually ask yourself when things go wrong? What are those questions? Do you say, why me? Why me? Why is this always happening to me? And what do this thing happening to me? Is this the kind of question you ask yourself? If this is the kind of question you ask yourself, what do you think this kind of question will bring to you? It will bring more pain, more confusion, and more repetition. Do you know why? Here's what happens. This kind of question don't just redirect your mindset to disempowering result. But what they also do is what they reinforce that word, that identity. What do I mean by that? Because you ask that question, it will reinforce it and cause you to ask that same question again when that same situation happens in the future. Now let me share another story. I hope everyone knows about Nelson Mandela of South Africa. We all know of the horrible experience that he passed. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. He could have asked, why is my life like this? Why is this happening to me? God, why me? God, why? How could people be this wicked? But instead, he focused on becoming the who could lead a nation. He didn't let his environment define him. He himself. And you must do the same. Bad things will happen to you. You might you might be broke. You might be ill. Your business could crash down. In fact, if you're running a business, you should have it in mind that you will face some kind of tragedy along the way. It's just normal with life. And that is why you have employees. Employees are there to solve problems. When you are doing a business, that the reason why you are there to supervise is because you know that there might be a problem, and so you are there to fix the problem. Now, instead of asking, why me, Lord? Why is this happening to me? What is wrong with me? You can now focus on asking, what can I learn from this? Can you begin to feel the difference between these questions? Why me? Because you're stupid. Because you made mistake in the track. Because that's what's supposed to happen to you. How about, what can I learn from this? Your focus will shift and begin to figure out, begin to evaluate and find out, okay, this thing happens. And here is a pattern I can recognize from this. And I need to adjust this. Can you see the difference? You can also go further and ask, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? Can you now see how your life is changing? By the time you ask yourself, okay, something happened, and you begin to ask yourself, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? Your brain will now zoom into action and begin to figure out ways to do it differently. Maybe you can also go further to ask, what is still possible for me? You encountered a tragedy. Instead of just giving up, oh, this is the end of my life. Why me, Lord? And you begin to ask, what is still possible for me even in these circumstances? Now that I'm like this, my health, now that my business is like this, what possibility do I have again here? You see, when you ask these questions, to be frank with you, nothing outside your life changes. More like, there's something called the latent heat. I was taught this in physics when I was in SS1. Right? The latent heat is the heat that causes, let's say, an ice block to transform to a liquid. So when you apply heat to an ice block, what happens? The latent heat will now begin. When you apply heat is happening. Something is happening, but initially, you think nothing is happening to the ice block. But when you give it a little time, you begin to see changes. You begin to notice that the ice block is melting and melting and melting and melting. So when you begin to ask the question, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently? What is still possible for me? Initially, nothing will change immediately around you, but your focus will change. Your emotions will change. When you believe and begin to ask, why me? This is the end of my life. Then what? You feel depressed. And when you are depressed and weak, you will not be able to take action. And so your emotions will change. And ultimately, your decisions will change. And over time, your life changes. Now, the reason why many people have tried this and could not get results from it is because they could not stay longer for the answers to the questions they're asking come up to them. If you are broke, keep asking, how can I turn my finances around? What business idea can I solve? What problem around me here people are passing through that my skill and expertise can solve it? Begin to ask that question. Begin to consistently ask that question. And suddenly, the idea will just dawn. And when it comes, your life has changed. This is how men change their life. This is how destinies are transformed. The power of questions. What question are you asking? This is just a dimension of this. What question are you asking? And I have to be honest with you. This is something I still practice. I still ask the question. I still ask my question. I'm still asking, wow, how can I turn my finances around? How can I make more sales? This thing that I'm doing that is working, how can I make it to work times 2, times 5, times 10? I'm always asking questions that will improve my life. How can I turn my finances around? How can I turn my health around? What exercise do I need to put in place? And what kind of diet do I need to put in place so that I will be energetic and strong? So that when I get to 90 plus years, I'll be strong and healthy. I keep on asking questions. And I'm finding issues with people around me. We need to ask, how can I relate with this person so that me together we won't be having this problem? Keep on asking. Ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open. The reason why you don't receive is because you do not ask. Ask, my brother. Come on. You have to ask. Now, let's do this exercise. Anytime something happens, I want you to do this. Ask yourself. First of all, catch yourself. Ask yourself, what am I asking myself right now? Either on the conscious level or on the subconscious level. Ask yourself, what question am I really asking myself now? Is this question helping me or not? Is it helping me or hurting me? You ask yourself. And if you find the answer, then you change it. What is the better question I should be asking? What is the better question I can be asking right now? And boom, your life will change. This is how to transform your life. This is a 3-step reset you can do when something happens and you begin to find yourself in a depressed or resourceful emotion. Ask yourself, what am I asking myself right now? And you answer, okay, is this helping me or hurting me? And then, what is the better question I can ask right now? And begin to ask that question instead of the mundane, disempowering question. And imagine if for the next 7 days, you became aware of every question you ask yourself and you intentionally change them. Do you think your focus will change? Do you think your decisions will change? And do you think your life will begin to shift? Obviously, the answer is yes. And this is why I'm inviting you to go deeper into this. Discover how to unlock a new level of clarity, focus, and control in your life. Because this is not just hyping. I show you a step-by-step process. I guide you. I customize the experience for you so that you can be able to use it. We'll work together and guide you so that you can be able to use it to transform your life. And this is how your mind actually works. Your mind works best when you give it a clear task. And I want you to understand that you may not control everything that happens to you, but you can control the questions. And the questions control your direction. And with this, we've come to the end of today's live webinar. And I want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being with me right from the start of this video, this live streaming, to the end. And next week, we are coming again with another topic. You have to pay close attention and click on the notification button so that anytime we go live, anytime we drop any notification, the notification will ring and let you know that something is happening. My name is Paul, and I'm a life strategist. I'm always on a journey to help you become a better version of yourself in a very short period of time. Thank you. See you next Thursday. Love you.